How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, and the patch update is finally here, which means we have Variation 3. And I don't know about any of you, but the character I was the most excited about was Kitana because she got a lot of changes, even some universal changes. So let's go ahead and look at that before we even start with her variations. So first up, we have the meter burn fan toss in the air. Look at this, you drop instantly. Can we combo from mid-screen? This has me excited. Okay, you can. Realistically, you could. It's gonna be tough, but you have a new conversion. If you catch the opponent, you can fan and then keep the combo going. That is awesome. You probably want to do back 1-4 instead, but you do have the option. Sweet, that is fantastic. And one more change she got is a new crushing blow, which is one of her strings that ends with an overhead. And to get this crushing blow, the last one has to hit. Okay, so it's similar to Garrus, and let's see what happens. Oh, and we got her. Oh wow, look at the floatiness on that. That just looks bizarre. Can we jump? No, we are stuck to the ground like glue. So we gotta dash in. Just a projectile? I guess like that? Okay, that's not too bad. Honestly, not very good damage for a crushing blow. I kinda wish it did a bit more damage, especially since I am dealing with a 50-50 that could cost me the round. I am very unsafe with that low. What is the overhead on block? That would be important to know, right? Let's see how the overhead is. And the overhead is only -7, so I guess that's kind of fair. There's not really much risk to it. You do give up your turn, but you're not punishable, so I guess it's okay for the crushing blow to not do very much damage. It just doesn't seem very scary because even this low attack does about 128, so it's about half as much damage, and it did cost me a bar, but that crushing blow doesn't seem very scary, honestly. It seems pretty balanced, but at the same time, not a super good crushing blow, and the conversion's a bit awkward. But who knows, players might discover something crazy after this video is posted, and it might be one of the best crushing blows she has, so only time will tell. So next up, let's talk about her new special moves that are unique to this variation. So first up, we have low fan toss. The name is pretty straightforward. It's a low hitting projectile, and it's pretty darn decent. And this becomes a mix-up now because you have several strings that do in fact end overhead. So here's one for an example. Ends with an overhead, but you could do this, boom, and you get a little bit extra damage. Now it's only +2 on hit, so not that great, but if you enhance it, look at this, +17. That is crazy, and they're so close. And at first I thought, well, the move misses sometimes, so it's not that great. Like in some situations it would just miss. I'm trying to find the situation where that was the case, but sometimes the follow-up was missing. I think it was here where I was missing it. But it seems like they fixed even that. But the good news is, by default, she's around here when you amplify it, but if you hold forward and amplify, she flies a bit further forward, so it's never going to miss now, and that's very, very good, because before when I was practicing it, it was missing, but that was before the patch, so it seems like they already addressed that. You're gonna have a pretty tough time even missing the regular one, but if you do start missing it in certain conversions, just know, hold forward when you amplify it, and you're gonna jump forward a little bit and make sure it never whiffs ever again. And of course, the 50-50s don't stop there. As I alluded to earlier, this is the main mix-up now. That overhead can now be canceled into something else. It's still a dial-in string, but you can cancel on the second hit. And if you do, you get a low. And it still connects. I don't need to do the far version, so it seems like it still has pretty good range, which is nice. It's not gonna whiff very often. So now your opponent has to guess in at least 2 different situations. They think, is the overhead coming here? Or is the low coming here? And that's very frustrating. If they guess wrong, they get a low and some decent damage, or you could possibly get the knockdown, and now crazy frame advantage, +17, not half bad. Then if they duck and they're wrong, you get a crushing blow and a full combo for decent damage. Not great, but it's okay damage. So put simply, this variation is a mix-up monster for Kitana. She has tons of 50-50s to frustrate the opponent. Now if you're wondering how this move is on block, it's not good. So by default, -19, and if you enhance it, it's a little bit better. Oh, it's -3 now. They changed it. They changed it. Oh my goodness. It used to be unsafe no matter what. Now you can actually save yourself by spinning the bar. That is crazy. What about the forward version? All right, still -3. Is there more distance there? Kind of curious. I think it's about the same. Okay. We both traveled a bit further, but at the end, we're still the same distance apart. All right, look at these girls' faces. They are just gorgeous, aren't they? My gosh. Anyway, that's just crazy. This move is now safe if you amplify it. So if you do go for the 50-50 and you guess wrong, you can still amplify it and keep yourself safe. It costs 1 bar, so it's kind of fair in most regards. That's just crazy. Now the follow-up is not a mix-up, it's just a mid. So if the opponent guesses right, you're not gonna catch them with that follow-up, but that is just awesome. I guess you could catch some people because the follow-up is a bit slow. I heard somebody say there's actually a gap. Let me take control of Scarlet real quick because I'm wondering if I can actually interrupt that follow-up. If so, it's not quite as good, but it's still going to be really great online. Similar to Liu Kang's kick, right? There is a gap there, but it catches me still from time to time. But let's go ahead and have Kitana just walk forward and do it. Now I'm going to block. You can flawless block it. That's an issue. You can flawless block it for days, but you can't interrupt it by punching. So there is no gap there. Oh, there is. Never mind. It's just weird. There is a gap. You gotta do it super early, but you still trade. Okay, uppercut? No. There is a gap, but like it's bizarre. I don't recommend going for it. It seems like you trade every single time. You're better off just flawless blocking it. And then it is a punish, if you look at that. It is -13 if you flawless block it. So there is a gap there. At a high level tournament offline, you're not going to want to do this very often because the opponent could just flawless block it and get a full combo on you. So that's a fair trade, I think. Online, it's going to be very powerful because a lot of players aren't going to find that gap. They're not going to flawless block, so it's going to be very strong online. But outside of that, man, it's still really good to have this option to keep yourself safe. Against the majority of players, they're just never going to go for that flawless block option, so it's still very, very strong. And next up, we have the Edenian twist. Now sadly this move can only be done in the air, but it's still a double hitting overhead which is very strong, and even after a jump in kick it still counts as an overhead. They may be common in MK11, but in MKX typically, a move that was that good from the air after an overhead would sometimes count as a mid, and it seems like in this game, nope, it is still definitely an overhead. Even if the overhead is blocked, it's still 2 more overheads. That's going to be scary for a lot of players. Now to be fair, Kitana only has 1 low hitting string, so they're probably not going to be scared of a jump in into this on block, but if they are, you can catch them with this follow-up, especially online, because it's 3 overheads instead of overhead into low. That's going to be a bit sneaky. Just 1 more 50-50 to worry about, especially in the corner, because that thing does combo there. However, outside of mix-ups and I guess whiff punishing projectiles from far away, this move really isn't that good for combos. The damage you get really ain't that great. Nothing to write home about, and the hitbox is a bit iffy. You kind of do want the opponent to be on the ground when you do this move since that's where it hits, so it could still be great for flying over projectiles or for a mix-up after a jump-in kick. But outside of that, it's not really your damage ender. Things like this do more damage anyway, so you're better off just getting on the ground and going for it there because it's just not the best option for damage and the hitbox is a bit wonky. But as a mix-up from the sky or a projectile punish, it could be very useful. However, do be warned, if the opponent does block this, it is very, very punishable on block. You probably did notice that, -17. So while it can be a mix-up after a jump in, if you're wrong about that read, it's combo city for your opponent. So it's a very risky move and not very much reward. So it's not the best addition to her arsenal. If she could do it on the ground, that would make her very, very strong. But alas, she does need ground war for that, and she does not have that because that's already in variation 1. So it's an okay move, but honestly not a great addition to her arsenal. And last but not least, we have Fannado. I'm not sure how to feel about this move. I have mixed feelings. The idea behind this move is that if you trade, you can still get the combo, kind of like Sub-Zero. Because from a distance, it can still hit the opponent, but as you can see, it doesn't travel nearly as far or nearly as fast, and the startup is quite slow, 25 frames. So it's honestly not the best projectile for counter zoning, but that is the idea behind this move. Even so, my main gripe is you can't do it after this string. One of Kitana's best strings. So now your go-to string is this, because this does combo into Fannado, and the damage you get is similar to that of variation 1. So it's still a great conversion off of back 1-4, but off of her main combo string right here, not gonna work outside of the corner. Now if you are in the corner, it actually does work because the opponent's back is against the wall, but sadly it won't connect from mid-screen. And there's sadly no meter burn options for this move or the Edenian twist either. Neither one has a meter burn option, so from full screen, it's not a very great option, and you might think not a big deal because you already have the fans for that. Heck, you even have a low hitting fan now, so the opponent has to respect this, right? They might think, oh, Kitana has high fans. I know this matchup, I'll just duck all day. Even her meter burn one is duckable. Oh, it's not anymore, is that a change, seriously? Oh, they didn't mention that in the cast. That hits mid now. They used to both be high. Now they're both mids. Oh, have mercy, it's like Baraka now. We have decent projectiles now, not as fast as his, but still pretty darn decent. And the low one's good too. It actually starts up faster, which is ridiculous. But you don't get 2, so I guess that's fair. Starts up faster, but the follow-up does not throw out a second projectile, so I think that's okay. Wow, Kitana got a lot better at zoning, honestly. She doesn't even need the counter zoning. I think the idea might be now to throw projectiles, and when the opponent gets close enough to counterattack you, catch him with this and you get a combo. Whether it's projectile or some kind of leaping attack, you'll catch him with the Fannado and get a full combo. I think that's the idea. Instead of trying to counter zone, you're trying to counter poke from a little bit beyond jumping distance. And that's honestly about it for the changes to Kitana in this build. Her damage is more or less the same, she's still not doing anything crazy, but she still gets around 33% for a crushing blow, a little bit less than usual because this string does not connect, and that's a bit of a bummer. But in the corner, her damage should actually be better in theory because that meter burn fan is going to just be amazing. So let's go ahead and see. Oh yes, look at that. Only 35 though with the crushing blow, not the best. And honestly, to end combos, you want to do low fan toss a lot of the time from mid-screen because this move will crushing blow if you have auto crushing blow turned on, and I know a lot of players still do. So in that case, you don't want to end your combos with this most of the time, and you sadly don't have the square wave anymore, and Edenian twist is only possible from the air, so low fan toss is one of your best options because the high version won't actually reach sometimes because they're falling, but the low one will still catch them. So mid-screen, that's one of your best ways to end combos, but in the corner, you can still do the regular one because the damage is the exact same. So no loss there, but let's see the damage if I... So without a crushing blow, we get 30% in the corner for 1 bar. Honestly, not the best. It could be a little bit better, but I guess you just gotta take the wins where you can. She still has crazy 50-50s now, and her zoning is definitely better, and her counter zoning seems decent too. Not to mention most of her best strings are still safe on block, so when you take all of that into consideration, I think she still might be a very high tier character with this build, but the fanboy in me still kinda wishes she does more damage overall. Not being able to break 30% even with spending 1 bar in the corner still feels a bit harsh, but maybe that's just me. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you feel about this new variation? And while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.